No recording.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Wait a second, I'm trying to turn on my video. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. This is a special meeting of the Mansfield Middle School roof project. There is some hope that it might actually be the final meeting. Is that true?
Yes. I think it'd be the final meeting, but we're getting there.
Okay, dear final. The first item of business is approval of the minutes of our last meeting. Would somebody move to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Bill Briggs, seconded by Paul Shapiro. Any corrections or comments to be added to the minutes? All those in favor, please indicate. Raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All right, there are only 3 members of the committee present. The rest is staff, and we don't have any of our outsiders. Oh, there's Doug Goulet. Okay. So what is the first item of business for this committee?
Project update.
Okay. So Alan, you want to give us a project update?
Sure. All the work that we had required the contractor to do has been done. Mike, our building inspector, has inspected that, but he's holding his final approval till he has assurances that the roof leaks that we had are fixed. Last reported by us is there was 3 leaks that we knew of. 1 was a roof leak, 2 we believed were pipe leaks. They went to fix those, and we confirmed on the pipe leak. And what we thought was a pipe was actually the roof. So there's 1 leak left currently now. He's out there today working on it.
And what is that leak?
It's in the hallway when you enter the back side of the building, and it's not a fast leak. It's just a drip one, and we see it when it rains. But I think there's a storm coming up where we can confirm things there in another few days. 4 or 5 days. I think Monday it shows rain on our schedule. So
This has been very concerning. This is a brand new roof, and we have had leakage issues with it all along. Is this something we should worry about?
Not uncommon for a new roof. You've got a lot of pieces that all come together. It's not uncommon to have leaks, and especially with a built-up roof like this. It's just a matter of tracing them down. But I think from what I understand from Alan, I mean, we've pretty much got most of them, or all of them, I believe. But it's not uncommon, especially for a built-up roof like this.
All right. And all of the additional work, the downspouts and the drainage and the debris problems, all of those have been corrected.
correct.
Yes, they have.
And are the photovoltaics working?
Correct. Yes.
Any idea how much electricity is being generated?
Bill's, I think, looking on his phone right now to give you an update on that.
So total is 58,158 kilowatt hours so far since they've been turned on. Today we are producing right now almost 16 kilowatt hours as of 8 a.m.
And is this what was expected?
Correct.
It's getting close to the peak. As the sun comes up higher and higher, we'll get more and more production out of it. At 8 o'clock this morning, the sun's not as strong, but later in today, I've seen it really close to its max peak during the winter months. So that's pretty amazing if you ask me.
Okay. Any
So-
other
so-
questions on the report, Bill?
So what does that maximum mean? Is that the maximum possible out of the system? Is that,
Correct. The, so the system's 100 kW. I think it's 100 kW. I've seen it up as high as like 97 kW.
wow,
So there's some loss with the equipment during the conversion from solar back into energy. So you do lose some, but it's very capable once the sun gets up and gets going.
that's great.
Yeah,
Any idea how much money we're saving?
We calculate it to be about 2,000 a month.
Wow, that's very nice. All right, the next is a review of outstanding work or remediation work. Is any of that, all of that's been taken care of except for this one last strip? Is that what we're hearing?
Correct.
All right. Then comes discussion and possible approval of outstanding invoices. Where do we stand on outstanding invoices?
Morning, it's David Stein with Silver Petroselli Architects. So last night we reviewed and approved the final application for payment for the roof portion of the project. That remaining piece, which would have then a zero balance, and after that, once that is in place and the final lien waiver and such could be issued with their final payments. And that was passed along at the end of the day last night as I reviewed that with the team from Imperial.
So to be clear, though, might have received it, but it's not part of the packet that was published for today. I don't know if we've received, yeah,
I haven't seen it yet.
yeah,
10 something last
Yeah.
night.
okay, so yeah, so that's, I think today, so we have a small, under $1,000, $890 invoice for outstanding work. It's number 23-296 from Silver Petroselli dated August 1st. So that I think is the first item up for review and action right now.
Is it in the packet? The agenda I have has no attachments.
Yeah, it's part of the packet. It's page 13, and then there might be a backup document or yeah, so page 13 and 14, Mayor.
And is the recommendation that we authorize this?
Yes,
All right, would somebody move?
there's a
to
motion. Do you have the motion in front of you, Mayor?
No, I don't. All I have is the agenda in front of me. I have nothing
Okay.
else.
Well, if it's of help, so if the committee supports authorizing payment of the invoice, the following motion would be in order. Move effective February 7th, 2024 to approve payment of invoice 23-296 from Silver Petroselli in the amount of $890.
$890.
$890.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Bill Briggs, is there a second by Paul? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? There's nobody opposed. It's a unanimous approval. There must be another invoice.
Well, then there's the next item for discussion. I think it was the November 1st meeting, the committee approved payment to the photo, well, it would work done by the photovoltaic subcontractor. It's payment made to Imperial. But part of the condition of the payment was a request based on the recommendation that was suggested by Colliers at the time to require Imperial to provide a lien waiver. My understanding is that based on the status of the project, that lien waiver can't be provided at this stage. So I might invite Colliers just to kind of clarify why that's the case, but also just to interject a little bit more editorializing. You know, a fair amount has changed since November in terms of the issues we were experiencing being resolved. And so obviously I think part of the concern with remitting over $40,000 in payment at the time was that you know, we knew that there were issues and we were worried about, you know, essentially making sure that we had some leverage to hold Imperial accountable. But I think we have remediated a lot of that. But maybe Doug, if you could just speak to the lien waiver piece and what you're recommending at this point.
Well, I mean, we can certainly get a progress payment, on lien waiver, mechanics lien on that. Yeah, my understanding is from Amanda, but she's actually on the line, I believe, but, is that the way the drawings and the contract was set up, it's all under one contract with Imperial. So in order to get a final lien waiver for the photovoltaic, we need to have the entire project complete. So that is why they can't give you a final for the photovoltaic portion of it, but we certainly could. There's no reason in the world we shouldn't be able to get a lien waiver for partial payment for that $40,000 or $42,000.
Is
Excuse me,
there a
Doug. Excuse me, Doug. This is Heather from Imperial.
Heather?
I'm happy to, if the town promises that they're all set and payment's going to be processed, I'm happy to get a final lien waiver right away from the solar gentleman.
Would somebody explain to me, please, what a lien waiver is?
Basically, lien waiver is, it's a statement from the contractor that they've certifying that they've been paid up to date. So you have partial payments, ones that are go along this, yes, we've received our monthly check. And then at the end of the project, there's one that's submitted from the contractor, so we've been paid in full. So as we go along, we like to get the payment saying that, yes, the general contractor is paying us for the work that we completed. That's the progress payment one that goes along with it.
And again, David Stein with Silver Petroselli, it also endorses that the contractor has paid their, you know, any of their vendors, suppliers,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
subcontractors or so forth. So it endorsed that the flow of the payment of the money from you as the client, the town, through to the contractor is all, you know, has moved its way through. The point is you can't issue a final lien waiver until there's a final payment. But, you know, as you mentioned at the time, you were, you know, using that as a point to move progress along and be reassured that the work would be done. As Heather just mentioned, they're at a point where they, you know, where we sit today in February, that you can, you know, that could be put in process as a partial lien waiver. And then the final lien waiver actually just comes thereafter you made their final payment, because they're not able to pay their, you know, pay their debts or such until they get their final piece. So that is a common thing, and that's important because it's what you may hear of mechanics liens and so forth. That's essentially what it's doing. It's endorsing that, you know, that everything has been paid and it is clear. So it is a protection for you as the town, and it is best practice to do this at each stage of the project or at milestone portions of the project, as Doug mentioned.
Yes.
Alan Corson, and Amanda, what are your requirements here, your recommendations?
From my side, I would recommend that we do authorize the payment and let them hold on the lien waiver till the end.
Is this a full final payment to the photovoltaic people?
No, I think there would still be retainage in the amount of a little over $15,000. So.
All right. So would somebody who has the motion in front of them read the appropriate motion?
So the motion would be move effective February 7th, 2024 to approve payment of the change order in the amount of $42,921.20 and pay applications number 3 and number 4 in the amount of $44,603.64 without receiving the lien waiver or affidavit as previously requested.
All right. Would somebody
I
like
missed
to make?
Tony, hold on. I missed the lien waiver or portion of the sentence. Could that be repeated a little slower, please?
I'll just read the whole thing in its entirety. Move effective February 7th, 2024, to approve payment of the change order in the amount of $42,921.20 and pay applications number 3 and number 4 in the amount of $44,603.64 without receiving the lien waiver or affidavit as previously requested.
So it is paying for the change orders as requested, but not authorizing the lien waivers quite yet. Is that what it is?
Basically authorizing the previous payment without the previous condition that was attached to it.
Which is the lien waiver.
Lien waiver.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right,
And
so
it's
the
supposed to be
the
signed-
lien
it's
stays
supposed to be
in
signed.
place and we retain about $15,000 pending total completion.
Yes.
I have a question. What is it that we are waiting for a rainstorm on?
There's another leak or two.
And that is basically, is that part of what we're withholding from Imperial?
That's part of, as I understand it, that's why we're holding on to the lien. In other words, there's still a potential for leaks.
And is that the sole remaining issue in this contract? So photovoltaic is over, correct?
Photovoltaic work is complete. Yeah, I mean, as far as, holding the lien waiver because of the leaks, I mean, we do have warranty on the roof. Imperial, is an upstanding company, they've been addressing all of the issues. So I don't see that as an issue. And we still have retainage on the roof portion of the contract if we really want to hold back money. But again, we have a warranty. If Imperial is not, for whatever reason, I'm not saying they would, but if they stop coming out to take care of your issues, we contact the manufacturer and they would have somebody else come to address the issue. So, but Imperial has been very responsive so far. I don't see that changing as far as the regular roofing contract, but the photovoltaic work is complete as far as I know. Unless Bill or Alan was aware of something, but as far as I know, photovoltaic is done 100%.
Doug, or anybody, I guess, for that matter, could somebody provide an estimate of on the roof portion, the retainage that remains?
I've heard 15,000 bandied about. Is that it?
Is that the entirety? Yeah, that's just for the solar. So I'm trying to confirm for the roof replacement, which kind of is a separate project.
Do you know what that is off from the invoice you had last night?
So the invoice that we have was for the change order piece that was not billed, that was approved back in the fall. So it'd be that portion in full would be the balance. Everything else was billed to the point, with the exception of the money that is held. So if Heather or Amy could jump in on their balance paid, that would be helpful. But the intent was that it would close itself out. So we would have to adjust that accordingly. But I am in support of what Doug said. The roof, with the exception, it sounds like I just heard last night, there may have been a leak yesterday. So I heard it through Imperial yesterday. Again, that would be a warranty item, but Imperial has been responsive. We could look at that. From what we've seen on our final punch list, everything was complete and per the contract documents. But if there is something else that still falls under your warranty and responsibility from the manufacturer, and also Imperial's required warranty per the contract.
Paul, does that answer your questions?
I think so. So, in view of the outstanding punch list item, that really awaits some kind of, significant precipitation to really resolve, that we're done. I'm just looking for really short, simple answers. What remains? What has to happen before the lien waivers are delivered and we're done? What remains in no more than 2 sentences?
The contract work is complete. The stipulation on verifying the roof leak was from the building inspector when we walked last week. That was his condition for him issuing the final sign off on his permit. But the roof work is done. I mean, again, like I said, leaks are being addressed. It's not uncommon for a built up roof just because of the nature of the roof. You have a lot of materials coming together that are kind of overlapping to create your seal. And so, as you get heavy rains, wind patterns change or whatever, you find, okay, something wasn't quite done or met up properly. So again, that's why they kept to come out and do some of these patches now. But contract work, to my knowledge, is complete.
And don't we need to have a sign off from the building official?
Well, saying that is the condition he put, is verifying that that roof leak had been addressed. But if you're asking, did they do all of their work? Yes, but the condition from the building inspector is that the roof leak be finalized and complete. Yes.
Well, the building inspector is required sign off as part of the contract document, isn't it?
Yes.
And will you say that again, Paul? Because I didn't hear.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Tony. The building inspector's sign off, the requirement that the building inspector sign off is part of the contractual contract documents, correct? That's in the
Yes.
contract documents.
So he hasn't quite signed off, and the sign off will depend on this next storm.
Correct.
Okay,
Wouldn't
Bill?
the final payment, wouldn't the retainage be released after his sign off, perhaps? So we
The
have that.
retainage, the retainage, yes.
And this amount we're considering currently, is it 44,000? Is that correct?
That's change order work for extending the gutter troughs, these baskets, all this, work.
Okay.
That's what that work.
Are there two figures in this invoice or
So
one?
I think we're exclusive, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, what's on the table right now is purely solar related invoices. The 40 some odd thousand number, those are, these were payments made to Imperial. Then obviously Imperial would pay the solar subcontractor, but this is for the photovoltaic piece only. Not the additional upfits, retrofitting, et cetera, troughs that were authorized and now complete.
He is correct. Yes, the change order was for voltaic. Yes.
I guess
Bill?
I can't see holding up the payment for the photovoltaic system for this, or as far as the lien waivers, that's mostly for the protection of the subcontractor who's giving up his right to put a lien on the property. So I can't see where we're losing. I mean, if they'll give us something, that'd be great. I mean, now that would be fine.
Okay, are we ready to vote yet?
On the payment invoice for the photovoltaic sub, is that what your question was, Tony?
The question is, are we ready to vote on this invoice, which will pay off, which will give Imperial the money to pay the photovoltaic subcontractor, which they have asked us to do in the past, and we have delayed doing it because we wanted to make sure that that the roof is working the way it was supposed to work.
And the architect and our consultant, respectively, David and Doug, are saying, yes, that the work is satisfactory and there's
Yes.
no reason to hold back payment.
Right.
Yeah, and so it probably should be said, just for the purposes of the release of this payment for the solar component. So the director of building it already issued his final permit for the solar piece. So I know we're talking about the building official issuing, final permits for in terms of completion of the roof, and that is still in process. But as far as the solar, that's already been done. So I think that's like another level of assurance and confidence we should have that we can move forward with this.
Okay, does somebody want, the motion has been read. Bill moves the motion.
So
Paul,
moved.
will you second?
Sure.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Adopted unanimously. All right, so, and we understand what we just did, which was always useful. Is there any other outstanding invoice?
Alan,
There's just the one that came in last night, 10 o'clock, so we'll be processing that, and I'll have that for the next meeting.
All right, so that is our next question. When do we meet again? Do you think this will be the last invoice to approve?
This
Could
is,
be,
as it's presented, again, David Stein with Silver Petroselli, as presented, that is the last, is the last invoice. It's labeled application 10 for the roof only, and it's the final, which would leave a zero balance.
Okay, I don't want to wait a month to do this. Can we schedule a meeting for next week sometime to take care of this?
Wait until.
Or should?
yeah, well, we really need to, we need to tie it to once once the building official has issued his final permit sign up on the roof. So that could come quickly, but I think we should perhaps, I don't know if we want to put out a date or not, and then have the meeting if it's ready, but really it wouldn't make sense to do it before then.
All right, so I will leave it to the staff then to determine when that has occurred.
We could schedule, I think we're saying March 6th, which is basically a month from now. It's the same, the first Wednesday. I know, Tony, you'd like to take care of it sooner. We could always, I guess, move up a special meeting before then if there was desire to, but maybe we put March 6th on the books for now, and then we do it then kind of at the latest, assuming that Mike's completed his work.
All right, so we don't need a motion for this, but put it on your calendars for March 6th, and let's hope we can get it done earlier. I know everybody is waiting to be paid. This is a project that took quite a bit longer than anticipated. The council at its last, not the council, the town manager, the deputy mayor, and I were talking about what we do about planning for resilience in the future. And one of the things that we're really going to have to talk about is planning for resilience. And clearly roofs are one of the areas where we're going to have to be more prepared. And let's hope this one makes it. I don't really want to come back and revisit this over and over and over again. So with that, I believe that there is, next item on our agenda is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Bill moves, Paul seconds. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and we'll see you in March, if not sooner. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good morning, everybody. Have a good day.
You too.
Hey, Paul.